you dream of the day that you're driving something like that, or a Porsche, or leads me on to say that you recently bought an M2.
I did indeed.
But more so, what's it like, forget the financial stuff, but what's it like being able to acquire them things you love at such a young age?
Long story short, for about 2 years, I never really felt like, is this the right journey that I want to do? There was a lot of stress and everything else that came with like running the company at a young age, and didn't really know if it was the right thing for me.
Right, I guess we could get started.
Yep, let's go.
Welcome back to the CEOCAST, and if you've been following for a long time, or since the beginning, you may recognize this place, and that is because I'm at AWC Detailing along with Alex Chapman himself. So I'm going to hand it directly straight to you.
Hello. I hope you're all well. It's certainly good to catch up after.
For anyone who's saying anything right now, I just want to let everyone know that we have got 2 meters distance. Obviously, you can't see it on the camera, but that's the case.
Yeah.
So if you haven't watched the first one, if anyone hasn't watched the first one, Alex, just give them a quick, brief background of what you do and how you got into it.
Basically, my name's Alex Chapman, and I started AWC Car Detailing, what was probably almost 8 years ago now. So we celebrated the 7-year birthday as such last November, which I think you came down to, wasn't it? But we
were so busy.
Yeah, it was super busy, so we didn't get to catch up. But long story short, it started off when I was 13 and wanted to create basically a vision from YouTube of detailing cars, but at the time it was literally just £6 wash, like sponge and bucket washes. And slowly over the time, did about 3 or 4 years on the driveway, just cleaning cars. It then went into like £80 for the day detailing. I was then over the road at a similar unit for about 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And slowly built up the customer base, that kind of thing. And now obviously in here, which is awesome.
I mean, I don't know if anyone can see behind me, but we've got this gorgeous M3 that I've been admiring for the past 15 minutes.
That's a bit of you. The next few months, I should see one of them.
Get it. So that's basically an introduction to what Alex has done. If you haven't seen the first podcast, I'd recommend you check that out. Get a bit more or a lot more information about the backstory. But obviously, we know quarantines happen now.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a business here. I have to ask you off the bat, what's it been like in quarantine? Because you can't be open.
It was basically, I was in the Lake District with my dad and a few of his mates and some younger chaps as well. And we were doing like a walking weekend. Yeah. And we weren't too sure what was happening with the whole like coronavirus. It kind of all just happened really quickly. And we were traveling back and I was like, shit, we should probably, I should probably think about like what we're going to do with the business and stuff. And I think that was the Monday. And I think by the Wednesday we locked up here. It was myself and Jack. It was about 10:30 at night. And we locked up and was like, looked at each other, like, what are we going to do? Because it was only 2 weeks, I think, to start. And then obviously it extended. And at the time I was thinking, shit. So I contacted suppliers and bits and I said, look, I don't know if we're going to be able to keep open and all this. Things like business coaching, I'll be completely upfront. I was like, I don't think we're going to be able to afford this month. Things like rent, we tried to get rent breaks. It was all very quite negative, and especially for mindset, it was quite a negative point, I think. But long story short, that feels like quite a long time ago. The difference that I appreciate anyone who's helped me, like I said, not financially, but like mentoring or anything like that. It's probably the best thing that's ever happened to the business in 7 years. And that sounds like, forget about obviously some people losing people and bits like that. That's obviously really not very good. But generally from a business point of view, from us, it's been a massive eye-opener. We've just been able to really like learn and just get into a better kind of positive mindset. I've been really working on like affirmations and morning routines and everything like that, just to make sure I'm being a good leader for all the other staff and bits. But yeah, it's been a massive learning curve. Yeah,
so the reason why I wanted to do this podcast with you is because, like I said, the last episode we've done was about 8 months ago, which seems only like yesterday, but it's 8 months ago. And I feel like both of you and I have grown a lot as a person.
Yep.
Obviously our crafts as well.
Yep.
You're fully booked out, I know that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later on. But back to what you said about mentality, how was like the coronavirus or COVID, quarantine, whatever it is. How has that affected you? Because like I said, being young, it's hard not to notice it. It's a different mindset compared to a lot older people.
That's the thing. So for me, like we were chatting before, I feel my pressures determine what I need to do. So one of my pressures was, especially through quarantine, and a lot of people were a bit more anxious in the mornings. So especially I'm like, shit, the amount of bills and stuff that come out for, I don't really feel it as much, but it's only when I speak to another person, like Paul, who comes in and does our PPF, and he's like, shit, you've got like a lot of overheads on your young shoulders.
Yeah.
And I started to feel it a bit more as we were going first 2 to 3 weeks through like the COVID period. But I generally just needed to change it up. So just kind of started doing like a morning routine. So I used to get up 7 and now I basically do 5:30, 5:45 and just smash out like a bit of a workout in the morning. And
but seeing you go through your walk up and down.
That's it, like affirmations and the beach walks and bits. And to be fair, I don't think I've ever felt more positive or motivated in the last 2 months than any other period that I can remember.
Why is that? Why would you say you feel a lot more motivated now?
I think the affirmations have made a big difference. I feel better in myself for doing, I just like basically taking myself out the comfort zone, building that resistance to things that I don't like doing. So I don't enjoy cold showers, but I've been doing those for a bit now. And the plan is...
Cold showers?
Yeah.
Why?
Like proper cold showers. So it basically in the morning, I feel like when I get in there, it's so cold and I'm like, it buzzes me up for the day.
Yeah.
And I don't really enjoy it that much, but I get a bit of a buzz from it. And I know quite a lot of people that I've done a bit of like personal development and such with, and have told me to give it a go. And it is really good. I'll give it a little test, but yeah, I don't know about that in the winter. We'll see. So.
No, fair enough. So going back to this, like you said in the last podcast that you're going to add another side to the business, which is mobile valeting. Yeah?
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I could see that you turned up in your valet van.
Yeah, in the van.
So how's that been going, and what is the point of that? Because you've got a detailing place.
That's it. Yeah.
I suppose it's a different market because you've got a lot of mobile detailers.
That's it. Yep.
But I've never seen someone with a detailing unit.
Yeah, and the vans as well.
The van as well.
So basically, the plan is to, as we up the amount of detailing we do, to up the amount of vans we have.
Yeah.
So obviously, it's one at the moment. It's been a weird old journey with the van. To be fair, like bought the van, was super chuffed with it. We had it wrapped. It had an attempted break-in, so basically someone decided to drill 5 holes in the side of it.
5?
Yeah, to try. I mean, it was an unsuccessful break-in, and it was.
Was that here?
No, it wasn't here. It was actually at not at home. I used to play tennis, like, well, I still do, but it's only through coronavirus I've stopped. But I left it outside a tennis club, came back, and I'm like, fuck's sake, someone's decided to try and break into a van.
Yeah.
About 6 vans got done that night. So.
Yeah,
then basically had to obviously get that all repaired and then redone, and Luke joined the team, and then the COVID period happened and it all just went like, it had so much like momentum and then just kind of stopped, which was a bit of a shame. So Luke's been doing a few days here and there, and he starts again on Monday. So really looking forward to kind of starting his career.
What's he doing, the mobile valeting?
He's going to be like the mobile valeter, and also we've been doing so much valets like here. So 6 month, 12-month decontamination jobs, which is cool. So yeah, just building the team, which is fun. And general plan is that once I say like this M3, it's good to try and maintain that customer relationship as well. So if you're in front of that customer every 6-12 months, you do build like a long-term relationship, which is really key.
Get them to keep coming back as well.
Follow-up business as well. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically the plan with the van.
Fair enough. And obviously, as we can see right now, you're back open. You've got a beautiful BMW there. You've got another one there, and so on.
Yep.
How's it been since you opened up? I think it's been about 2 weeks now, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been just like mind blowing. To be fair, it's from the mindset I had 6, 7, 8 weeks ago. We had to do a lot of development and adaptations to the business. So with the products, like the amount of work that the team put in, and myself and people who like Taylor, for example, who designs all the labels, and different people who came in and bottled stuff up. Like turnaround time was like a week and a half, which normally for me would just be insane. So we managed to get it done, and then just kind of took myself out of the So I took myself out of the comfort zone of like doing more videos, just at home, just cleaning products. And it's insane what the power of Instagram. Like, I won't go into figures and stuff, but I did a video cleaning my dad's car. Like, it was the longest story I think I've ever done. You know, when you're like clicking through and you're like,
yeah.
You know? But some people must have
especially when
watched
you've got to type something on your phone.
Yeah,
Okay, that's not one. Next one.
And the sales were insane that night, like really, really cool to come into. So there was a lot of positives over that period. But generally now, to answer the question, we are busiest we've ever been in 7 years. I don't think we've ever been fully booked for 4 staff members, basically until the end of June now, which it like, I can say it and it feels great because like we have put in a lot of hard work. There's been some extreme hard work by, again, the team and myself and stuff over the last 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So like, while a lot of people are using it more as a rest period, we've just tried to adapt and change as much as possible. And I feel like that's kind of paid its dividend, which is really exciting. Some awesome cars.
That must be a massive accomplishment for you. So tell me, what's the feeling like of, I'm not going to say finally being fully booked, but I mean like you're fully booked now with all your staff, and like you said, in 7 years, pretty much from when you started.
The pressure releases a lot.
Why is that? Shouldn't it be up because you've got a lot more work, or?
Yes and no. Basically, it would be up. It would normally be like, shit, we've got a lot of work, but we completely systemize the process here. So customer updates, photos, videos, sign-in process, signing off jobs, job sheets. It's basically all on like a technological, if that's a word, system, which is, again, something that took 8 months with a a supplier called Alan, which basically just made things super, super easy. So before, if I looked at the books now and was like, oh my God, we've got a crazy amount of work coming in, it would be a bit like printing this piece of paper for this and that, and it would be a bit everywhere. But systemization is really, really key, and it's been great to have that. Like, Jack uses it a lot to do because he's like operations manager. He does it a lot to update the customers, and it's so sick. You just take photos within the app and all this kind of thing. But these things do take a lot of time. Like it took about 8 months, and it was like a bit stressful in some periods and bits, but the end outcome is really good. So yeah, it feels great, and it feels like we're finally getting some traction to where we kind of want to be, like meeting our vision and that kind of thing, which is feel like.
What is your vision?
So vision is basically technically to create.
I'll ask you this in 2 questions. Sorry to interrupt.
That's all right.
What's AWC's vision for the company, and what's your vision as Alex Chapman?
So the company vision is basically to create like an industry leading car detailing business or car care business. That it used to be to inspire young entrepreneurs from all over the world, but that's more of like my personal vision. As a company, it's basically to provide a world-class service and the best customer experience there is in the UK. So I think we're not far off. And to be fair, I'm not like a really vain person. So I say that with genuine kind of credit to the team and everyone who's put in hard work, like all the automatic car covers and the updates and bits and the client testimonials. There's other people doing amazing jobs as well.
Yeah.
Like, I know some friends in this industry. You've got like Automotive Addiction and ATD Automotive, like just a few just to mention. Everyone's doing a smashing job at the moment. So I think the industry is really going in a great direction. But obviously, we just want to be the best that we can be. That's the general kind of vision for AWC. And then personal vision is basically to inspire as many young entrepreneurs or even older people now across the UK and worldwide as possible. So building my own kind of personal brand and doing a lot more podcasts, and potentially starting up like a coaching program or something that's something that's of interest. So generally just the good thing, I'm not too financially, obviously money is really, really important, but the feeling that I get from other people, like calling the landline earlier and being like, we see your stuff and all this, and the messages are just insane as well. Like, I have to really sometimes take myself back from it and look at the story. I'd probably do it once a month at the moment. So I use my old laptop, just go through all the last photos, because otherwise I find that my gratitude really reduces, and I just walk in here and I'm just like, it's the unit we've been in for ages. Whereas now I'm a lot more motivated for it.
I got to ask you a question, just touching on something you said, something about financially.
Yes.
Now, I'm not necessarily going to talk anything financially.
Yep.
But what I'm trying to get at is, as a 20-year-old,
Yeah.
or in fact, as a 17-year-old, if you're a car lover, you dream of the day that you're driving something like that, or a Porsche or an M2. That leads me on to say that you recently bought an M2.
I did indeed.
But more so, what's it like? Like, forget the financial stuff. But what's it like being able to acquire them things you love at such a young age?
It's amazing. It is great. There's a lot of pressure there, though. I find I don't tend to post as much as I used to on social media platforms because I don't want to look like I'm showing off. It's the one, like, especially recently, a lot of my close friends that I've had deep chats with, that I really used to post whatever I acquired online as much as possible. But like now, 1 or 2 photos will be enough to, like, if that's something that I've achieved. And they say, like, mate, you've done it yourself, kind of thing. But to me, I just feel like if I said to someone recently, I'd strip all the cars and money and anything else, and if I'm still someone you want to like get along with and have a chat with and inspire from me, then that's like my end goal. So the money's really important, but gratitude and everything else is probably more important to me. But it does feel great, and I'm extremely, extremely grateful of everything. And there also is obviously some luck and bits there with everything, like there is being at the right place at the right time. But it does feel incredible. Really, really does feel good. So
sick, man. You know what? I struggle to, like what you just said about Instagram and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I struggle because now I'm trying to work on like a personal brand. So you got CEOCAST and then you got Raheem, as me, the host, obviously.
Of course,
And I'm trying to develop ways for people to connect with me as well as the podcast, obviously.
Yep.
But sometimes it can be hard when
balancing both,
yeah. Because it can sometimes when you want to post some stuff up on social media, for example, whether it's your car that you've got, whether it's X, Y, Z, whatever.
Yes, yeah.
It could either come across as this guy's vain.
Yep.
I'm gonna unfollow him.
Yes.
It's not so much that I care about unfollowing, but this guy's vain, or this guy's doing sick, and how do you balance the both, or the two, should I say? They don't make any sense.
It's very hard. I think, like, I'm not that kind of guy who's like, if you don't like this, unfollow me and all that.
Yeah.
I'm a bit more low key now, but I think generally it's just balancing is the hardest bit between, especially for like the AWC page. My friends always say, like, you've got to post more photos of like yourself next to the cars because the engagement is about 4 times. So it might be, say, 500 likes for a photo next to that, or you post it without and it's 100. But I don't want it to look like there is a team here, and I've always said that, like, it's not all about me. Jack does an absolutely incredible job down here of managing things and took a lot of strain and pressure off me for about almost a year now. Charlie, that's been with me for 3.5 years now, especially in the last year, he's like mastered the craft of AWC detailing, and every respect to him for putting in that hard graft. And obviously Luke, he's shown some real good kind of pre-talents as such, if that's the right word. Definitely isn't, but he's going to be so good. He's got a really nice personality, lovely to get on with, and can't wait for him to join the team. But it's also about the other people as well, like the amount of people behind the doors, website people, design, like people who do signs, stickers, boxes,
bring the whole place together,
like just friends as well. Like we had a friend, Jack Quelch, come down today, who's like, we're developing the units and new lighting and maybe an aircon system and stud walls all for this and reception and all these kind of new areas, and like things are going well, but we're not at that point where we can just be like, there's 15 grand for a new reception or something. You do have to plan things well, and having the friends there that do those kind of jobs does really help. So I can't even remember what point we were talking about. I've gone completely off, but generally it's balance act is really important. Really important.
Talk to me about the day in the life as a 20-year-old entrepreneur.
Very good question. So day in the life of me, so basically in the weekdays I wake up at, let's say, 5:45 or 6, and I sound like that guy, but I've started working out in the mornings for about 45 minutes.
Oh, so, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, carry on.
and then basically do some affirmations in the morning. Yeah. I tend to start those as well as soon as I get out of bed. Try not to look at social media, so try and build the affirmations. I journal now as well, so I write what I'm grateful for in the morning and how the day's going to go. Nothing too crazy, really short page. That's been a game changer for mindset and positivity and motivation, to be fair. Then pretty healthy breakfast, get up. Normally in work by 7:15, 7:30 normally. And then it's just kind of starting off with, tends to be quotes, starting the sales process, getting everything ready for everyone as well. Most people start at 8. So I just like to kind of, that first hour and a half on my own is really important down here. Otherwise things are a bit like, someone comes in, it's all a bit like everywhere. So if I can get a clear mindset, go through the emails and social media in the morning, it's really powerful. And then basically, Charlie knows exactly what he's doing anyway, but I'll just quickly go over, I'll speak to Jack about what needs to be done, and Jack basically conveys that to Charlie. Jack will then basically throughout the day do like operations managing and general bits like that. And I tend to be upstairs just doing general bits, stock checking, sales, quotes, and marketing. So that's probably up until about 12. Have some lunch, and then afternoon wise, I tend to try and do a bit of hands-on detailing if I can, just kind of sharpen the sword here and there.
Let me just stop you there. So far, Alex has already done so much more. It's only halfway in the day. He's already done so much more than what I do.
Gotta be done. Nice and productive. If it's not productive, I'm like, I get so frustrated with myself. But and then generally the afternoon, it can be whatever happens. We could have clients coming in. We could be going out to do inspections, that kind of thing. So generally, however the afternoon takes me, about 5 o'clock. Charlie will finish 5, 6-ish, depends obviously on the detail. It could be 7, and then we'll just kind of do a general pack up. I'll take all the pads and everything like that home. That's the only bit that's not systemized. So I'm still at home at 7:30 scrubbing out pads, and my mum washes the yellow cloths as well. So that's all that. And then spend the evening with the family at home and have a nice bit of dinner. And basically every evening for the last X amount of weeks/months, I'd take a quick walk down to the seafront, listen to a podcast or music, reset for the next day, come back, smash out a bit more journaling, what I want to kind of do, and then back in. But that day is completely different to 3 months ago. I'd be up until 11 o'clock at night watching shit on YouTube, just doing nothing. Whereas now it's like I try and get to bed by about 9ish just so I can get a really long sleep.
It's funny you say that. What's the difference between the two Alexes from the first podcast we did and now? Because now you seem very strong, positive, mindset heavy, which
a lot of
love to see.
I really do hope that I can kind of keep it up with myself, because it has only been 2-3 months of it. But generally, just kind of pushing the boundaries of where I want to go. Long story short, for about 2 years, I never really felt like, is this the right journey that I want to do? There was a lot of stress and everything else that came with like running the company at a young age, and didn't really know if it was the right thing for me. And I'd still go out and do the evening walks and bits. And I'm like walking home thinking, not dreading it. I love working on the cars, but everything else that came with it, like all the sales and meeting people in the
at the end of the day, it's a business to run, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing. So I thought if I can take my personal self to a place where I feel great about myself, then I'll see how that helps in the business. And that was probably a move I made 3.5 months ago now, just to start a few things. I mean, affirmations and that I've probably been doing for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I've tried like trialing cold showers and a few other like breathing methods. But I haven't really been like mastering the craft as such for 2 months now. And it feels really good. Like, I always say to my friends or anything, if you ever need like a chat or want to talk about it, it's a game changer, and it's good that Jack's quite interested in that as well.
So let me ask you a question, which referring back to the beginning of this podcast. Are you in a way, aside from all the bad things that's happening in quarantine and all that stuff, are you in a way grateful of quarantine?
I think it's a good question, and you got to be very careful probably how you answer it, but the answer is yeah. I'm extremely grateful that the world stopped for X amount of months, because it's probably the stop that we needed as a firm, and me as a personal individual as well. Like, I always push the boundaries of, I always try and be like the best person. Sometimes it doesn't come across that way, and sometimes it can look like you're trying too hard.
And I suppose being young, it can be very draining trying to do that at the same time.
And you're always like trying to push the boundaries, and only recently it started like paying off.
Yeah.
So I think it was a great break for me to actually realise what I'm grateful for. When I was still sometimes coming down here when we could, like when it was really bad and then unnecessary travel, I didn't really come in, but it was crazy just to open the door, have no cars in, everything be spotless, and you're like, I was super grateful for it.
Yeah. And
then I started doing a bit more of the personal things, and the gratitude really increased, and that was great. So yeah, I'm actually, like I said, apart from all the bad things, I'm really grateful.
You just need a bit of a breather, don't you?
Definitely. I think everyone did. Like some of my friends and people I work with, I think everyone just needed it for a bit, and I think some of the photos are cool as well, like London being completely dead. And
oh mate, the other day I went. I actually drove into London.
Yeah, is it sick?
I drove in I got there at like 8 o'clock at night. Knightsbridge, we're talking about, completely empty.
Mental,
I'm talking about empty to a point where, so me and my mates went for a walk.
Yeah.
It's completely empty to a point where you can walk in the middle of Sloane Street.
Really?
No cars are coming. There. No cars are bothering you.
So eerie, I bet.
Yeah. I mean, even... Actually, I don't know if I can say this on a podcast. It might be...
Yeah.
But, we took some pictures.
Yeah.
Let's say outside Harrods.
Yeah.
And even when there was obviously police coming around and all that stuff, no one's telling you to do anything.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
It's weird. It was so weird. It's like a ghost town.
It's been like...
It's mad.
Bonkers, but I mean certainly on like my walks and stuff, it's gone a bit crazy. The last week I'm like see like a group of like 45 50 people already. Like, fingers crossed it don't come back.
You know what, I gotta admit, when quarantine first started, I wouldn't say I panicked, but I was very worried about myself and this podcast, because
it's very physical.
It's very physical, yeah.
And like I've like got a question for you, and I think it's more of like I feel like I'm the I'm
go
the
on.
CEOcast.
This is the first time this happens, so I'm curious.
I was just going to say, like, I think you should talk to the camera about adapt and change, and how, like, for example, we did like online products, but I think from your point of view, it's been insane to see. I don't think you've probably done as many podcasts as you have recently. You've fucking been smashing them out online and adapt and change.
Do you know what it is? So I was always a believer in. I've even said it on the Imran podcast.
That was great.
No, thank you. But basically, I love having face-to-face interactions as the first impression.
Yes. Yep.
So, for example, with me and you.
Yep.
I would love to meet you. You already have met you, obviously. In person, and same goes with everyone else. So as much as it's the podcast that I'm missing out on, because let's put it like this, everyone I've done a podcast with, I still talk to today on a daily basis, pretty much.
Yep.
But in regards to adapting change, it's just, I didn't really want to do Zoom calls because I knew there would be a lot of a quality loss.
Yep.
But at the same time, I had to understand that this is my platform, which is a podcast.
Yes.
If I go ghost for however long it's going to be, everyone will forget
exactly
from
that's the thing.
When it's been.
Yeah.
So I had to do the Zoom calls, and then obviously as guidelines have started to open up, then
you can start doing more physical stuff. I think there's been great consistency from what I've seen, and like how it's grown is insane. I remember when you first emailed me.
Yeah, man, literally, like that's why I always say this to Alex, like privately, just me and him talking, where I'm so grateful for him even saying yes to me, because bearing in mind, I had asked a lot of other people. I'll give like a whole load of emails, DMs to other people, and if they do reply, it's most likely a no, just because there's no other content. Now, all I did was said, you know, I'll try and find that email and I'll try and put it here.
Yeah. Put it. I think it was because I've read it and I was like, this is sick. Like for me, again, it's that whole. As you build the business, there is loads of emails like that, and that's really cool. Yeah, it's like don't get too far off your kind of whatever you want to call it, like. I was going to say chair. That's not the right term.
No. Basically, I just wanted to thank you because
my pleasure,
I feel like without you saying yes, it wouldn't be here today, because gives you a lot of confidence.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think the way you've grown as well has been insane. Like there's some big people in there as well, and I'm sure there'll be some.
Oh yeah, mate. There's some people lined up. I'll block this out.
Yeah,
but said he would come.
Oh really?
On. Yeah,
that's sick. Banging.
Who else? A couple of shisha lounges, like the main ones in London, for example, like stuff like that.
Yes. It's because you've got content now. I think that's the key. Like it didn't bother me at all because I'm like, 100%. But
you know, the other main thing is as well. I don't want to give myself toot my own horn or anything like that. But when I message people on Instagram, they say, loving your content, loving the theme of the page. And I think it looks like it's professional.
Yeah, that's the
where it looks like I've got a team behind me. Literally, I'm a one-man band doing it all myself.
This is like me when I used to wash cars. And then people would clock me and they'd be like...
It's exactly like that.
You're a 15-year-old. And then we got turned down. It was me and my dad. Like, my dad gave me a lift in the...
it's mad, man. It's mad. So
in a car.
I think that's very important to say that if anyone's got a plan or any idea, don't ever think that you're too young or too unprofessional to do such a thing.
Really
Alex was 15. Fair enough, how old am I now? I was 22, 21, something like that. Either way, just crack it.
Just smash it. Yeah. The only person like that can... I don't even know what I'm going to say.
I think basically, I tried to explain it in one podcast before or a video or something like that, where you can start and you're not going to be great at all, perfect, anything like that, but you actually have to start to get to the point where...
That's the thing.
For example, if you didn't wash that first car you did when you were 13 years old, would you be here today?
Nah.
There we go.
Probably, I don't know what I'd be doing.
Exactly. What would you be doing if you didn't have this, by the way?
No idea. Genuinely.
You must have some sort of idea. Other than cars and washing cars, what else are you into?
Probably be buying and selling things. I'll probably be buying and selling cars, I reckon, to be fair.
Yeah, fair enough. It's a good business spot.
Yeah, I don't know if I could deal without them. I just feel like it's such a... Yeah, especially if you get like a good buy on a car and if you don't get a warranty or anything like that on it. Talking about car dealers though, one thing linking to development and stuff and obviously reading, I'd so recommend Tom Hartley's book.
Have you got it yet?
Yeah, I just basically read it. It's the fastest book I've ever read because normally I'd get given or buy like business books and autobiographies of people I'm not that interested in, but I quite like their story, whereas Tom Hartley's been like a big inspiration. I think it's nothing to do with detailing, but general story and stuff, and Carl Hartley's page and bits, and that book is quality. I've just basically finished it and definitely recommend it. Really cool.
No, even if you look at, I was thinking about buying it, but to be fair, I'm not so much of a big reader.
Yeah. I don't know if he does an ebook
getting into it. Huh?
I don't know if he does an ebook, probably not. But
if there is, then I'll definitely get it.
Yeah,
but even if you look at the Carl Hartley estate or the Tom Hartley estate, shall I say, it's mad. Like, how can you not read that book?
It's so cool. Like, just the whole, as you like, obviously I haven't been, but as you turn up and the dealership and the lake and everything like that, and when you read the book, it's really interesting to see the different kind of aspects behind each build.
Yeah,
like the showroom and why they wanted to do that. And I think Tom still uses his old office where he used to do all his old deals and stuff. And it's bonkers, like incredible market. And I'm sure that's extremely stressful, especially then. Like most people would have delegated to other people and probably seen less of a business growth. But I think it's great how those have stayed on the ball and probably leaders in that industry. To be fair.
All right. So before we wrap up, because I know you got places to go, and I think it's coming up to that time. But before we wrap up, I just want to ask, how, in regards to your business first, how are you going to move forward with, because it's a one-to-one business where you got to interact with the customer. How are you going to move forward knowing that there's a lot of guidelines and things in place that we have to move forward with now? And so
basically just like kind of mentioning everything else, adapt and change. So you probably can't see them, but we've got like AWC stickers on the floor, all about 2 meters. We've got ensure you use this sanitizer provided, all these different things, and just making sure that the customer's safe, staff are safe. We do like checks on the staff as well, just to make sure, just a general kind of, are you feeling all right? Yeah. And obviously if there's any problems with that, then there'll be 2-3 weeks, whatever the guideline is for that. But generally pushing the business forward. We've got safe guidelines about dropping the cars off. Obviously there's no handshakes, 2 meters, putting the keys, like leaving them in the car. We sanitize everything down. all these different kind of things. I think personally, there's going to be a massive business boom. My personal prediction, might be wrong, in the next 2-3 months. I've personally seen it from a great friend of mine, Jack Smith from Auto ID, who's absolutely smashing it at the moment, and one of my kind of best mates in business. And yeah, it's just phenomenal to see that there's so much negative at the moment with everything going on, but there's some business owners out there that have like absolutely been killing it, and he's definitely one of them. So yeah, super.
Making sure there's a positive outcome in it.
Definitely. I think just pushing it in the right direction, and we're always opportunity. Like there was even an opportunity to take on another facility, which was slightly out of budget, so we didn't go for it. But yeah, fingers crossed there's more opportunities as this kind of builds, and fingers crossed people start getting back on their feet. I think if I was like working in London and not being able to go out there and all those kind of things, it'd be driving me insane. So a lot of respect for people who are on furlough and all those kind of things. And yeah,
and I think you just got to keep your head strong, head 100%. High, and just aim for the best, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's a great time for people to learn some personal development stuff and just getting out, like whether it be riding a bike or doing some sports and stuff, clearing the head. Good mind, like I said, is probably the reason why we're so busy. Like it's not about the sales processes and the systems and the advertising we've been doing. It's about having a clear mindset and building myself as a personal kind of leader that I think has put everyone in a good mood, and obviously some good leadership skills, hopefully, we hope, that's kind of felt like I've been motivating everyone else, and obviously building sales and bits like that. So yeah, so far so good, really.
I just want to, as we finish, I just want to say, I'm not just saying this for the podcast, but I've said it to you before as well. It's so inspirational, and I hope everyone else can take this from the podcast and from Alex himself. Seeing someone at such a young age, because bear in mind, I keep forgetting that you're younger than me. Yeah. Not by much, but you're still...
Little 20-year-old.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. But I mean, it's so inspirational to see that you've built this and it hasn't been handed to you. You've worked your ass off, basically. Yeah. And you've got it to this, and it's so inspirational. So I feel like if any young people who are watching this right now, just check out AWC Detailing. Listen to the first podcast if you haven't already. Make sure you listen to all of this one, because it's one of those most inspirational guys that I've met. Appreciate which is why we're doing the part 2.
Very kind of you indeed. Yeah, it's been great catching up. Like we said, we're always in contact anyway on Instagram, and it'll be nice that once all this is over, we'll go for a drink and that. But yes, it's been great to have a good catch up and good chat. I think certainly from myself and from your base, like I think as people, we've developed crazy over the last 8 months.
Yeah, 100%.
Hopefully that shows on camera as well, because I definitely wasn't very confident out there.
Like, mate,
it's like the first video as well. So yeah,
I don't even know if I even told you this, because I panicked at the time. I remember this, and I didn't want to seem like I'm doing a bad job or anything. But I don't know if I told you. Did you watch the first podcast?
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, of course.
So I don't know if you know. I think it was like the first 20 minutes where I didn't turn the microphone on. So with the audio was from the camera.
Yeah, and then it switched on, didn't it?
And then I was like, oh. And then I pressed it on my phone, then I got it up.
Play it easy.
Yeah, I didn't want to tell you that because obviously, like, I just didn't want to
tell me now.
Yeah.
No, the secret's out.
Let's just hope these mics are working.
Fingers crossed. Fingers
crossed. Like
that was really good. Really enjoyed that. And,
but that's what I was saying. Like, I feel like me and you have both grown a lot in confidence and
100%.
People as well.
I think, and that's the key. Like, if you feel confident in yourself, and not to a point where you're getting like, look at me kind of thing, but it feels better in yourself, which is the key.
To allow other people to relate.
100%. So, have you got any more of these coming up?
Yeah, I've got quite a few
busy
lined
ones. Some big names as well.
Yeah, but right now I'm building a studio at home. So the ones where I can't go to places like, for example, like this, and I've got to wait till that happens.
Perfect.
But yeah, there's a lot. So make sure people are subscribed.
Definitely.
Check out Alex, AWC Car Detailing on Instagram. Also, is it Alex Chapman?
127
on Instagram. Myself, Raheem KA, CEOCAST. Subscribe, like, share. If you listen to this on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, make sure you follow and leave a review. And with that being said, I'll catch you next week on the next episode of CEOCAST.
Sick. That was a good one.
That was good.
That felt real good.
Much better than the first one.
Yeah, no, definitely.